A brand has the ability to take our pursuits, our purpose, our passions, and make them bigger than ourselves. A brand has the ability to reach out to more people and connect with them on a personal level, more than any one person with a dynamic idea or stellar product could do. These are the far-reaching positive ripples of branding power. But remember, as an entrepreneur or a brand manager, you're still the one who creates that first ripple. You decide what goes into the sea of consumers. You're the initiating energy, the source. The ingredients you infuse into your brand will determine the effect your brand has on others. Does that sound like a lot of responsibility? It is. And it's all with great responsibility. Tremendous privilege awaits those who enthusiastically infuse their brand with clear and unwavering values. Now, we know the decision to buy is always an emotional decision. No one is ever just exchanging money for goods and services. The exchange is emotional, energetic. There's a promise involved, a trust. Exchanging enthusiasm will generate more enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is catchy. When you create your brand's core values, so they are clearly defined and consistently representing, your consumers' trust is free to flourish into fandom. Fans are defined by their enthusiasm. The roaring crowd, right? The cheers from the stand, the headbang mosh pit, the line that goes all the way around the block at midnight for an Apple product or an Air Jordan, right? These are all infused with contagious, reverberating enthusiasm. Build trust with clear values and make enthusiasm your main ingredient, and you've got the winning recipe to transform your consumer, your customer, into fans for life. This is brand loyalty, and no matter what business you're in, brand loyalty is your business plan. Active listening. You're going to want to pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. Are you ready? I really want you to hear this because I want you to succeed. No matter what your business may be, all your income is going to come from listening. Yes, I mean all of it. No, there are no exceptions. The first step is connection because you have to open the forum to conversation. But once that forum opens, your ideal individual always has the floor. Yes, I mean always. There are no exceptions. This is a nuance many businesses miss, but every Fortune 100 company knows it all too well. There isn't a single name on that Fortune 100 list that doesn't understand the return value of pouring tremendous amounts of resources into active listening. When Starbucks was recently faced with a public relations crisis, they leapt straight into active listening mode. A bad judgment call was made by a Starbucks manager that escalated to the arrest of 2 African-American men who weren't causing any disturbances, but were simply waiting for their friend to arrive before they made any purchases. The incident was posted on his social media, and the hashtag boycott Starbucks was trending within the hour. Did Starbucks start defending themselves, blaming the one manager for making a bad call? No. They opened the forum wide for their brand community and got down to listening. The CEO released a statement expressing a desire to meet personally with the 2 gentlemen who had been arrested so he could hear them out personally. The vice president flew out to Philadelphia, where the incident had occurred, to hear out the community that was most deeply affected. Starbucks went into emergency active listening mode, and the hashtag boycott Starbucks disappeared almost as quickly as it popped up. This is the power of active listening. When your brand community feels heard, they will stand by your brand even when the storm rolls through town. Active listening requires the listener to fully concentrate with the full, wholehearted intention, fully understanding what is being said and why it's being said. If it ain't got heart, go back to the start. Listen again and again and again until you find the heart of what they're saying. Respond to the heart of what they're expressing to you. And then listen some more. All of your income will come from listening. Many people listen only enough to form whatever thought they wanted to say next, barely listening at all. The way to respond to your ideal individual isn't with words, it's with actions that demonstrate your brand hears their deepest hopes, darkest fears, and even their wildest dreams, especially their wildest dreams. When your brand community feels heard, they feel understood, they feel safe, they feel at home with your brand, Home is where a person returns. Home is brand loyalty, and brand loyalty is your business plan. Social proof. Social proof is an industry term. According to Wikipedia, social proof is a psychological phenomenon where people assume the actions of others in an attempt to obtain a similar outcome from a given situation. Often in situations where we aren't sure what to do, we'll look to those who appear to know more than we do and follow their example. Social proof is a powerful persuasion tool and should be wielded with the integrity and sense of responsibility that you would expect from a hometown hero. From the time we were born, we began looking outside ourselves for social clues on how to behave and using methods of persuasion to get our needs met. At 2 years old, those methods very well could have included emotional manipulation, being charming or acting coy, being sneaky. It's quite normal to experiment in these ways and test boundaries while we're formulating over our surroundings. It's when we don't grow out of those ways of persuasion that we find ourselves wielding persuasion in a dishonest way. The best way to gauge how we are utilizing persuasion is to examine what kind of energy your tactics create. More so than any message your brand can convey, people will remember how it made them feel. Honest persuasion rooted in transparency, empathy, and enthusiasm will create positive, hopeful, exciting, comfortable energy. Persuasion that is rooted in being like coy, playing on guilty conscience, like sneaky wordplay, and laying on that like insincere like charm, it creates this sense of urgency or inadequacy, discomfort, discontent. This type of persuasion will work on some of the people some of the time, but only once or twice. Eventually, these brands end up like an abandoned ghost town, not a beloved hometown. Social proof creates self-sustained momentum. When we see other people enjoying your products, having friends who are raving about your brand's services, we hear experts confirming the effectiveness and benefits of being involved with your brand. The phenomenon of social proof is set in motion. Get this, we are 50 times more likely to buy from word-of-mouth advertising. 50 times! That's the power of social proof. Mark Twain once said, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. Honest persuasion fears no question. Your brand is an open house, a welcome forum, and your customers always have the floor. Social proof creates self-sustained momentum, and when the backbone of your brand is honesty, your brand no longer needs to do all the talking. When your individuals always have the floor, you are free to always be listening. All of your brand's income will come from listening. Use social proof honestly and responsibly, and brand loyalty will be your great reward. So let's recap the 3 S's of honest persuasion. They are shared value, seduction, and social proof. Trust, compassion, and integrity can't be faked, but it can be earned by listening and by being honest. Facts, authenticity, sincerity, and credibility are persuasive. Identify your ideal individual's deepest truth, the one they dare not speak, their deepest held vision of their own best self. Start brainstorming ways to let them know they're not alone in this harboring of this desire by sharing with them openly and honestly about the challenges you faced and how your brand helped you overcome them. Just be honest and your story will be persuasive. The magic of yes and, these 2 little words, yes and. This final secret is about responding to your customers once they've shared their voice in regards to your brand. Yes and is a principle used in improvisational comedy. And if you've ever seen something improvised that you could have sworn must have been scripted, then you've witnessed the magic of yes and. And here's a general idea of how it works, although no one can fully understand it because it's like magic. But imagine you're on stage with someone and you start to pretend you're holding like a shovel, you're digging a hole. The other person comes on stage and sees your action, interprets it through their past experiences, and says, I thought you got the car fixed last week. You think, the car? What does he mean? The car. I'm holding a shovel. I'm planting a garden. So you say, no, this isn't a car. It's a shovel, honey. I'm planting a garden, remember? Okay, so now you've just labeled your partner crazy. And they can either argue with you about who's crazy, is it a shovel or a car or gardening or a car, or they can just be the crazy person for the rest of the scene that they think cars are shovels. Either way, you've immediately placed them on an opposing side to you. It'll go okay for a second, but the options are severely limited. The audience can feel this disconnect. Their trust in the story wavers, and pretty soon the scene will die off with a thud. Now, conversely, let's say you're digging with your shovel, your scene partner enters and says, I thought you got the car fixed last week. And you say, yeah, I fixed it all right, now I'm burying it right next to our last car. And then your partner grabs a shovel too and says, damn, we just attended the funeral of Frank's and Virginia's Nova last week. They sure don't make them like they used to. And now you've got a scene where the story is connected. And we're all together in this funny alternative universe where people have burial services for their cars when they die. The feeling is lighter. The audience is with you. There's enthusiasm for the comedic potentials by the magic of yes and. Yes and is a master skill for building brand loyalty that will work in much the same way as it does in improv. That's why I told you the story. It keeps the relationship with your customers positive, enthusiastic, and ongoing, full of potential. When responding to the information provided by your customers, especially when it's not what you expected to hear, yes and will keep the relationship alive. Yes and will keep the conversation going. Whatever opinion, impression, or experience your customer shares, the answer is yes. That is their truth. Yes, you hear them. Yes, you acknowledge what they are saying, and you are acknowledging that it's valuable. Then the and portion provides a contribution, a further agreement. And we appreciate your feedback because it helps us. And this is how our brand is going to support you going forward. And this is why you are an important part of our community. Yes, and is a master skill for building brand loyalty. No matter the matter, yes, and puts you and your customers on the same side, the same team, the home team. Yes, and is the secret behind the shared enthusiasm that can fill an entire arena with cheering fans. They're basically cheering yes and, right? They're going, go, yes, go. When we love something, we gather together to make our voices heard as one on the same side, yes and. We gather together to be with other people who feel the same way we do. We gather together because we're invested in a common interest. This is the resulting magic of yes and. Your ideal individual is the hero in your journey with your brand, but you are the traveled sage who knows all the shortcuts and can be relied upon to appear when needed most. Provide your ideal individuals with the tools they need to be successful and be available to guide them along the way. A leading brand is molded inside and out to be consistently supportive, enthusiastic, and accessible. These qualities begin with you. The best part about being a leader is that what you do makes a difference. The hardest part about being a leader is that what you do makes a difference every day. Direct your brand community towards home, towards a greater future, a better life, with consistency every single day. This may be the greatest win-win of them all. Communicating with consistency of character that is on brand will keep you moving forward to the next level of personal mastery. The hero's journey goes on for all of us. As you forge new chapters in your brand story, your brand's promise will expand and increase the value for everyone in your community. Thanks for watching. Don't miss out on a single thing. Subscribe below. And here's something else I think you'll love.